We'll go ahead and get started with the February Ttcda meeting. I believe we have a quorum. We have 4 other wonderful people here today. And we've got number 2 on the list, approval of the minutes. Hopefully you guys got that and were able to take a look. I'll entertain a motion for approval.
So moved.
Second?
I second.
All in favor? Aye. Opposed? And passes. All right, item number 3, applications for certificate of appropriateness. First on the list is Daniel McGuffin, Branded Image Group, 1-A-24-TOS. And if I can get a staff report, please.
Okay. This request is for a approval of a building sign for a business in the existing 938 square foot office building on Sherrill Boulevard near the Dutchtown Road interchange. The current zoning is office park and with a technology overlay. And this is within the city limits. The sign will be located on the southwestern side of the building that faces Sherrill Boulevard, and it will be on the brick facade of the second floor of the building. The proposed building sign includes the business name for the kids' pediatrics, and the new sign consists of non-illuminated channel letters mounted via a raceway. The letters are 5 inches deep, and the kids' pediatrics consists of 2 colors with the blue trim cap, and the sign will have a flat finish. The sign size is based on the linear feet of the business frontage. So in this case, it's 60 square feet. The building, the business within this building, the building's longer than 60 square feet. Or the sign comprises of 57.02 square feet, which is within the 60 square foot limit. This request is in compliance with the design guidelines, so we are recommending approval.
All right, thanks, Whitney. Appreciate that. Any questions for staff? All right, applicant here? No? All right, no questions. I'll entertain a motion for approval.
So moved.
Second?
I'll second.
All right, we have a motion, we have a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? All right, passes. All right. Item number 2, Jordan Hutchison Signs and Such. This is 2-A-24-TOS. Can we get a staff report, please?
Absolutely. So this is a request for a new sign for the building at the southern terminus of Omni Lane. Forgive me. The Pipe Wrench Plumbing Company is relocating to this site and is moving the existing sign from their current location to this location. The sign was permitted and reviewed under the regulations for the existing zone, but the Ttcda guidelines have requirements for signs based on the building frontage. This particular building faces the street at an angle, and planning staff used the larger frontage to calculate the sign allotted. The signage can be placed on any facade, and in this case, it is placed on the shorter facade. As we come through here, you can see that this is in the industrial mixed use zone as just a little context. And again, here we have get my mouse to cooperate with me here, the end of Omni Lane. And this is the proposed sign coming forward. The relocated sign consists of channel letters individually mounted to the building via a raceway that will be painted to match the building. The sign has a matte finish. Based on the longer building length, the facade is 135.5 square feet. The sign to be relocated is 75.56 square feet and is within the maximum 100 square footage allotted. The request is in compliance with design guidelines. And based on the application and plans as submitted, the staff recommends the approval of the certificate of appropriateness for the sign permit and meets, with the one condition that it meets all of the requirements of Knoxville zoning ordinance as appropriate.
All right.
And I'll take any questions.
I actually have a question.
Yes,
And this
ma'am.
is more for my learning for future than for this specific case. So we can measure the longest side of the building and put it on the shortest side?
In this case, because of the unique situation, we felt like it was appropriate just based on it being the terminus of the Omni Lane and the angle of the property.
I can actually answer a question on that one too. That's me.
Excuse me, if that's okay, if you can come up and give us your name and your address, that'd be great.
Jordan Hutchison, and I'm with Signs and Such, which is on 10932 Murdoch, Knoxville, Tennessee 37932. So what happens is the longer portion is actually the front of the building, because it actually comes to the end of the road. So we actually went by the frontage of the building, but they're putting the sign on the back. So it is, the way that building is set, it kind of goes here and it goes in and over and over. So with the picture that you saw with the sign on it, if you were to back up, there's another like 30 feet of frontage just back. Does that make sense, what I'm saying? So if you say if the building's here and then it goes in 20 feet and then you have another frontage here of every bit of 30 feet, you see it just keeps going in and over. But the way that they're doing it, that's the interstate behind it. So they're doing it on the side of the building that's coming from Cedar Bluff down to Level Road.
So they're advertising on interstate versus on the street that they're located on.
Basically, because they're at the end of just a dead end road, basically.
And so they're getting a billboard. You look at Google Maps. Like I've got Google Maps pulled up.
Yeah, so the Ttcda guidelines require us to use the building frontage, and in this case, again, we kind of looked at it as what fronted Omni Lane, since that's where it's addressed from, and so typically that's what we consider the frontage, and so we do, and there's not any place on here in the regulations that specify that the sign has to go on that particular frontage, and we have allowed that in the past. I think Chick-fil-A is probably the most recent example where we had, I think, 3 different facades that had signage, and we used the allotment for the 2 facades that face the front and kind of to let them divide it between the 3. So, yeah.
That's the way I've always done it, where the frontage gives you the total allowance and you can break that up. It works really well too with big buildings that have more than one door. So.
All right.
Any additional questions?
I'm a little confused with the Country Burrito Mexican Grill. Is that a separate?
That is going to be a separate, that'll be next.
I'm for both of them, but yes, that's different. I just happen to have 2 and y'all's lovely. Yeah.
All right. Any other questions or comments? All right, I'll entertain a motion.
Motion to approve staff recommendation with one condition.
Not your condition, just per staff recommendation.
Per
their-
staff recommendation, yes.
All right, thank you.
Second.
All in favor? Aye. Opposed? Motion carries. All right, Jordan Hutchison, Signs and Such, 2-B-24-TOS. Can we get a staff report, please?
Absolutely. So this request is to replace the existing sign with a new business sign for Country Burrito Mexican Grill in the Strip Commercial Center at the corner of Hardin Valley and Pellissippi Parkway interchange. You can see here from the zoning map that it is in the planned commercial and technology overlay district. And this request for the sign consists of channel letters individually mounted to the building via a raceway that will be painted to match the building. As you can see here on the sign, the new sign consists of channel lettering, as I stated before, mounted to the building via a raceway. The proposed letters have an acrylic face and black matte lettering. The words "Country Burrito" are located on the facade of the tower that anchors the corner of the building, and the words "Mexican Grill" are located to the side of the building facade above a pair of awnings. The sign is based on the linear feet of business frontage, which in this case is 60 square feet, and the sign comprises of 57.02 square feet, which is within the maximum square footage allotted. The request is compliance with the design guidelines. And again, we have a condition of approval to meet all relevant requirements of the Knoxville zoning ordinance as appropriate.
All right.
And I'm happy to answer any questions you may have.
Have you ever been there? The food is really good.
It looks way better than what's currently there.
And it does
so
look way better than what's currently there. So
There's a huge cabinet sign right there above the door now that's got a picture of a donkey, so.
Okay.
Was actually there last night.
had dinner there last night.
So I do have one question. At the bottom of what's showing right now, at the bottom of the picture where it says day view, get that, night view. Is that?
It's called day-night vinyl. So what happens is during the day, it's black. And then when you light it up, it's a really light gray. Because you can't essentially light black. So that's what happens. It kind of reverses itself at night.
Is it fairly representative of that?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Interesting. I've never seen that before. All right. Something different.
Motion to approve per staff's recommendation.
Do we have a second?
I'll second.
All right. Got a motion and a second. All in favor? Aye. Opposed? Motion carries. All right. Thank you, Jordan.
Thank you, Jordan.
All right, next up on the list, Wallace McClure, 2-A-24-TOR. Can we get a staff report, please?
Yep. This is a request for a rezoning from the agricultural to general business. The technology overlay will be retained. It's at Dutchtown Road and Sherrill Boulevard. So this is within the mixed-use special district of the Northwest County 2 Century Park land use designation. And this locates retail uses along the south side of Dutchtown Road within the area. The community commercial land use classification states that it may also be considered within the mixed-use special districts. And the community commercial land use considers the CA General Business District for infill development. While this space is not infill development, the only other opportunity for retail within this area is the PC zone, the planned commercial zone. And the PC zone is not preferential for this site because of their 50-foot peripheral setback. And that would be difficult in this area considering how the right-of-way is already kind of going through the parcel here. There's also some other unique topography issues. We've also got a blue line stream that comes through here and some closed contours. So the 50-foot peripheral would be pretty challenging on this oddly shaped site. The CA zone is for general retail business and services, but not for manufacturing or processing materials. And so the CA zone is consistent within this existing office and technology park zoning area. It's also going to be heard at the Planning Commission this week, case file 2H24RZ. And while the east side of Pellissippi Parkway at this location is mostly office uses, there are a couple of properties that are commercial that have been rezoned commercial within the past couple years. This site up here was rezoned in 2020 from the Business Technology Park to the PC zone. And down here, this is within the city limits. It was rezoned from the office park to CG3, which is general business. And also some of the other change of conditions in the area. Dutchtown Road has been improved in the past 15 years to widen it and add sidewalks along the property. So the recommendation is to approve the CA technology overlay to general commercial.
All right. Thanks, Whitney. Any questions for staff?
Just had a question. Whitney, could you pull up the zoning of the adjacent properties and the surrounding area up on the screen?
On
Just
KGIS?
Yes, please. I just want to see.
Okay. You have a tab open right there? Okay. Let's see. Oh, how do you do that? F8. Oh, okay.
There we go.
Sorry, I didn't realize we lost it.
There we are.
So this is actually, this is the only part right here that's getting rezoned to CA. It's actually a portion of this larger parcel that also goes across the street on Dutchtown. That portion's not getting rezoned. It's just this side on the south side.
But it's the same owner?
Yes.
Thank you.
Uh-huh.
All right. Any other questions for staff? Okay. I'll entertain a motion.
I'll make a motion to approve per staff recommendation.
We have a second?
I'll second.
All right. All in favor? Aye. Opposed? Motion carries. And I think the next one is a postponement. We don't have to vote on it, correct? Okay. And then on to other business. That's you or Naomi? All right, Naomi.
So this was. So the applicant has requested approval to revise a previously approved landscaping plans for self-storage unit facility off of Dutchtown Road. This will be the second administrative approval since the original sites were approved in April of 2022. Ttcda case number 4B22 TOB and Planning Commission case 4F22 SU. The conditions attached to the original approvals still apply. This is an aerial photo depicting the context of the surrounding area. The current zoning is under highway commercial. The subject landscaping plan revisions proposed were minor and able to be approved administratively by staff under Article 8, Section 7 of the Administrative Rules and Procedures of the Ttcda. And the staff review and minor approvals, changes to previously approved applications. The rest of the development completely remained unchanged. The changes to the landscaping consisted of removing a medium tree from the northwest corner of the site and replaced it with 2 deciduous shrubs. Removed 2 large trees from the northern edge of the site. Removed foundation plantings along the southern half of the front facade. Added more foundation plantings along the northern half of the front facade, and removing foundation plantings where the HVAC equipment will be located on the southern facing side of the facade. The topography of the site slopes down from the road to be where the HVAC equipment will be located, so it will be screened off from the public right-of-way by the land and not require shrubs around the equipment. And I'm happy to answer any questions you may have.
As far as it being the second time that they came back, the changes that were made, were they reducing numbers of plantings, or was it just a general, they were relocating and?
Yeah, so the purpose of it was they needed to add some HVAC units. They had originally been programmed on the roof, and they moved those to the side of the building on the ground. And so there was landscaping there that had to be removed to accommodate for that. So in that location, there are fewer plantings because of the HVAC. The removal of the trees on the northern side, I don't know if we lost our connection or if it's, do you care to turn on your laser pointer? And then, so the large oval on the right-hand side of the screen, that was the single tree and then a couple of shrubs. And then the smaller circle on the top right-hand corner, that was, I think, 2 medium-sized trees, if I remember correctly. So there's fewer trees, but I think they bumped up the landscaping on the frontage of the building. The area there is a little bit longer, so they removed it off the left. It was erroneously placed there in the first place because that's supposed to be a sidewalk. Nope. The frontage, upper left-hand corner of the building. Yeah, so that's a sidewalk and originally had landscaping there. So they moved some of that landscaping to the oval on the top right-hand side of the building. But because of the length of that, there's more plantings in that area than they were originally called for on the left. So that kind of picked up some of it. But they are, and I think that you've got the slide above that kind of toggles between this plan and the previously approved. So you can kind of see like where those things went away and what the landscaping proposed around it looked like. So maybe you want to kind of toggle between the two a little bit quickly to kind of give a difference there. Now, I will say too, there's additional existing vegetation beyond there between Cogdill Road and the building that's going to buffer a lot of this. So really those plantings there are only going to be seen from Dutchtown Road, the frontage on Dutchtown.
So the purpose of removing these trees is just cost?
I would imagine so. I mean, they weren't part of the requirement. So there's certain trees that are required, and anything beyond that, if they want to remove them because they're not required, we're not, we don't really have anything to say, no, you can't do that.
So they're still in compliance.
They are
with
still
the
in compliance. Yeah, we
Okay.
did check that.
Okay.
And then I guess the other question I had is I was a little confused about the description saying that they didn't need to hide the AC units because the ground hides it from the road? Is it behind a berm or
Yeah,
something?
so typically we would want to see a screenshot. Can you go to KJIS and pull up a screen view? I mean, a street view? And there, is there one in there already? Maybe not. I can't remember. Just a second. It's okay. I might just get the street view not found for this location. Great. Let's try it now. Here, it's okay. I'll get the thing from you.
Do you want the cord? Mm-hmm. Okay, perfect. Pass that off to you.
Okay, so you can see here the building's under construction because they received their approval some time ago. Oops. In one of the views I was in, I know it'll go a little bit further over. I don't know why it's not letting me do it now. So when you come up here, so the HVAC is going to be like down in this area here. So the slope of the property when you're in street view, by the time you get the plantings up here, you're really not going to see, because there's going to be plantings kind of in front of the HVAC, and then the HVAC is going to sit down here. So it's kind of naturally screened. The existing grade almost acts like a berm in that way. So because the land slopes down beyond your view.
Will it continue to do that when the property on the right-hand side gets developed as you're coming down the road?
Yeah, they're not gonna, this is the slope going down into this site here. This site is also being developed. They're also gonna have some landscaping up here, some trees and things like that. If I remember the plans correctly, there's gonna be a building right here. So I think if anything, it's probably gonna buffer it even further.
Okay.
All right.
I just think air conditioning units are one of the ugliest things to have to see.
They are, agreed. Yeah, I was glad to see that they were keeping the landscaping between the road and the HVAC, and that they're placing the HVAC further back more into the slope. So I think that helps. And again, that existing vegetation, let's see, when you're looking at the aerial view, because it's along the right of way, it's not even on their property. They couldn't remove it even if they wanted to. So all of that is still gonna, this all right here is gonna remain, all this right here is gonna remain back here. So a lot of the site is gonna continue to be buffered. Like this is where they're removing some of those trees on the northern edge of the site, but that existing tree vegetation will remain.
All right. Any other questions, comments? All right. And we are adjourned. Thanks, everyone.